space trek. What will happen if any space debris hits a live satellite or the ISS? What are space debris? So what is the scale of the space junk problem? How can we deal with space debris? GS Paper 3, Science and Technology. What is the context about? China's space mystery. Massive chunk of Chinese space debris crashes to Earth after falling from sky above Burma. The massive object is the size of a large car and appears to be the wreckage of a rocket or missile. The US Air Force maintains a dedicated team that tracks space debris that is traveling around the Earth at around 28,000 kmph. It is estimated that 1/5 of all of CubeSats violates international orbit disposal guidelines. What are space debris? Space debris is the collection of defunct man-made objects in space, old satellites, spent rocket stages, and fragments from disintegration, erosion, and collisions. Below 2,000 km Earth altitude debris are denser than meteoroids, mostly dust from solid rocket motors, surface erosion debris like paint flakes, and frozen coolant from ROSAT nuclear-powered satellites. The two main debris fields are the ring of objects in geosynchronous Earth orbit, GEO, and the cloud of objects in low Earth orbit, LEO. What will happen if any space debris hits a live satellite or the ISS? The rate at which they are being put into orbit in their current form rapidly increases the likelihood of collision in the near future. Crafts such as the Space Shuttle and the International Space Station can change their orbits if a larger object approaches. The systems on the ISS that provide vital life support are also responsible for its unique vulnerability to a debris impact. A pressurized module in a vacuum might behave like a balloon if punctured. Should any of them strike another space junk, a live satellite or the ISS, the consequences would be disastrous. So what is the scale of the space junk problem? More than 5,000 launches since the start of the space age, each carrying satellites for Earth observation or communications, for example, have resulted in space becoming increasingly congested and contested. Now, the US Space Surveillance Network is tracking tens of thousands of objects larger than a tennis ball orbiting above us, and we suspect that there are 100 million objects larger than 1 millimeter in the environment. Due to their enormous orbital speed, 17,000 miles per hour, each one of these objects carries with it the potential to damage or destroy the satellites that we now depend on. How can we deal with space debris? Debris avoidance maneuvers are planned when the probability of collision from a conjunction reaches limits set in the Space Shuttle and Space Station flight rules. Debris avoidance maneuvers are usually small and occur from 1 to several hours before the time of the conjunction. NASA implemented a similar process for selected robotic assets, such as the Earth Observation System satellites in low Earth orbit, and Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System in geosynchronous orbit. This process can be repeated if the planned new orbit puts the NASA vehicle at risk of future collision with the same or another space object.